Jump right into it. Read the title on the video because it is what it is. It's too much to cover. Let's get into the news coverage because I'm starting to get fed up with Mayor Tiffany Henyard, Super Mayor, whatever they calling her. We're going to call her Jailbird in a minute. Let's see what the news just said about her.
And the Board of Trustees say the village faces a financial disaster, and they blame the mayor for mismanagement.
Eric is live in Dolton with the latest from last night's board meeting. Eric?
Come on, Eric.
Well, good morning. There were actually two meetings held here last night, back to back, and both of them were contentious.
Two meetings, all right? I know I stopped it already, but two meetings because I covered one of them, and it was hot and heavy in there. Freeman is gone. They fired the city administrator. What happened was they called him stealing some money. This is going to come out. Lori Lightfoot and got on the case and all that or whatever, but they had to have a closed personnel meeting talking about it. Listen to them.
Last night's meetings were never going to be just business as usual in Dolton.
People around you that wants what's best for the people, not what's best for Tiffany.
People need, and watching as this village being ran into the ground.
That dude is funny. It is, but it ain't. That dude who just spoke, what he said in the real meeting, he started yelling. He said, I'm sick of you and all of your wigs. I'm telling you. He made it seem like it's Mayor Tiffany and the Wig Council.
Months, Dolton's mayor and members of Dolton's Board of Trustees have faced off over the village's finances. They accuse her of overspending, and she accuses them of political retaliation.
This village is bleeding. If these residents knew the truth, they'd hit the roof.
Board members last night voted to limit the use of the village credit cards, lay off a handful of workers, including placing the deputy police chief, Lewis Lacey, on administrative leave. Several trustees accused Lacey of doing the mayor's bidding. He declined comment after the vote. Mayor Tiffany Henyard showed no signs of backing down.
So they had to lay the deputy chief off. That tells you a whole lot when you got to lay the chief, the deputy chief of police off. That's telling you something. And you just fired your city administrator and didn't fill that position. And she's sitting up at the board with these two white dudes in the suits. I like white guys. It ain't got nothing to do with y'all being white. But the fact is that they ain't never been there before. And then you got two white guys in suits, two lawyers that said something's going on. That's when it then got serious.
Targeted. This is harassment.
The board also discussed selling a village-owned building that has a police sign on it but was never converted, and selling Henyard's 4 SUVs used for her security detail.
We've spent almost $250,000 on these vehicles. If we keep the lease for the 5 years, which is 60 months, we would be spending $718,000. Most of them was signed without proper authority anyway.
You throw a lot of things up here that don't be true.
It's simple counting, baby. All you have to do is multiply.
Another issue board members are trying to square is the employment status of Henyard's former top aide, Keith Freeman, who is now charged with bankruptcy fraud. Henyard fired him from Thornton Township, the other board she runs, but Dolton trustees consider him a whistleblower, and firing him would set the village up for a lawsuit. Henyard made it clear where she stands.
Keith Freeman is fired from the village of Dolton.
So if the board considers him a whistleblower, that tells you a whole lot. That means that he got fired before, and then he told Tiffany, something better happen. I'm going to tell it all. I'm going to tell the whole thing, all of it. And she was like, you better not tell none of that, Keith. You know you're supposed to be my boo. And he was like, no, I'm telling all of it because we finna go to jail. Well, they probably finna go to jail, and she had to fire him. And that's interesting because, of course, the council's going to be concerned. They don't want to fire dude because if you fire him, then it's like a retaliation thing. He can turn around and sue for all kinds of stuff, retaliation, harassment. We don't know what it is. And that's important. You know, I made a joke about him being her boo. We really don't know that, but I hope not because there's a power dynamic there. And usually you don't see that when the woman's the boss and the male is not. But in this situation, when you got FBI stuff and then his back is against the wall, we don't know what he might say. So they're all in a compromising position. But I got to give it to Mayor Tiffany Henyard. She's holding it down to make it seem like everything okay, but obviously it's not. Let's hear more about what's going on.
Now, the drama will continue a little later on here this week. Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot will present her findings to the board about the mayor's finances as well as where the town sits financially. We're live in Dolton. I'm Eric Rung, WGN News.
Continues between.
All right, so when Lori get in it and show what's going on, that's gonna be a whole shit show. It is what it is, and I hate to see it, man, because the city of Dolton is going through enough. And at the end of the day, who's gonna hurt the most? The residents. You see, they laying off the police chief and all that. That means there's going to be an interruption of command. You may see some interruptions in the way the police is moving. They finna run out of money. They talking about they may not be able to make payroll. Mayor Henyard, Tiffany, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. And I've been trying to hold it down. People in the comments been talking crazy to me because I've been saying it may not be as bad as it seems, but it's looking real crazy, boo. What you gonna do? What you doing? What you doing? Because I understand when politicians make mistakes. Politicians are human. They gonna make mistakes. They gonna vote on stuff they shouldn't vote on. They're gonna have an idea that don't work. What person you know don't have it? Just because they get elected, they don't get superpowers all of a sudden. But when you know better, you're supposed to do better. And when you're in that position, you can't. It's one thing to bet on something that falls through and you lose money. That happens. That's business. It's something different when you do it again, and you know that ain't your money, and you know you're going to get personal gain off of it. You know it's against the rules, and the board is telling you don't do it, and you still do it anyway. And then you treat the board like they stupid, and then you try to treat the residents like they stupid. In this meeting, she put people out. Look, in this meeting, she let people come in. She was late. She was 30 minutes late. Then it may be a little bit more than 30 minutes, but she was at least 30 minutes late. The people were sitting in there. She got in there talking about it's a safety concern. They put everybody out the meeting saying they got to go through the metal detectors and then made them come back in. These are seniors. That's not a good look, man. You can't do that. You got to take care of the most vulnerable people in the society, man. Damn, Tiffany, stop it. All right, man. Remember, stay unlikely and be unstoppable, but don't do unlikely stuff like that.